As I was saying, welcome to Facebook Advanced for Business. This does presuppose that you do have some working knowledge of Facebook. You already have a Facebook page for a business account. We do have an intro to Facebook for business on our YouTube page. You can access it anytime. A couple of things. My name is Sammy. I am the events and education coordinator here at Goosefoot. So I teach our business workshops, I run our public events, and I run most of our social media and marketing stuff as well. So, and I do this for a lot of other small businesses as well. So I'm not, 100% an expert, but I do have a pretty good background in this. This is a workshop, not a lecture. So what that means is please feel free to ask your questions at any time. I have the chat windows open on my monitor here next to me. I'm connected to the internet, so I'm happy to pull up Facebook and actually show you guys what I'm talking about if we need it. So again, no need to hold your questions till the end. Ask them at any time. I'm happy to help. If you guys have any cool examples that you've done or that you've seen, please feel free to share it in chat. I find the workshops are always a lot more fulfilling when you guys are talking to each other as well as me. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So just some few general tips about Facebook, kind of in general. Figure out what sets you apart from the competition and play off of that. No matter what business you have, no matter what industry you are in, you do something differently or special than any other business that is in your industry. That's why you started your business. So what is that thing? That's really what you should be playing up on social media so that your page doesn't seem so general and you're not like everybody else. And on that note, while I'm talking, if you guys want to introduce yourselves in chat, tell me and each other what your business is, what you're hoping to get out of this class, anything like that. I'd love to hear from you guys. So with social media in general, it is very important to have a plan and a goal. What is it that you're hoping to get out of the social media platform? What are you hoping to achieve? Is it more followers, more engagement? Do you want to get more sales? What is that? Because otherwise, if you don't really know what you're doing, if you're just sort of using social media to use social media, it'll get frustrating for you. You will feel like you're not achieving anything. You'll start to wonder why you're doing this instead of the billion other things you have to do with your time. So knowing what you want to get out of having a social media presence will help you do things that will get you there. So make sure you have a plan and a goal. However tight or loose that is for you, we do have a content calendar workshop again on our YouTube channel you can check out. Some people just have a rough sketched outline of this is the kinds of stuff I'm interested in. With your social media, it's really important to help, don't sell. Nobody goes online to be sold at. That's not why we spend our time on the internet. So if all of your posts are just sales posts over and over, here's this new product, here's the price, here's a discount, whatever, you're probably not going to see very much engagement. But if your content is helpful, and help can be a huge number of things. It can be entertainment, it can be distraction, it can be tutorials, it can be, just fun facts, anything like that. But as long as it's useful to your audience, you're going to get a lot more engagement than if you are just selling things constantly. And I do work with some businesses who are afraid that if they give it away for free online, then no one is ever going to come to them. But that's simply not true. Carrie, you're a tour operator. You might think, oh, I can't tell people the best secret places because then they won't hire me to run the tour. That's not true. When you show off, little bits, tidbits, little bits of history, little bits of information, ways things tied together, funky new businesses you might know. It shows people that you do know what you're talking about, and they know they have to get the full experience by working with you. So you're not undercutting yourself by giving away that helpful information. Allison, as a hairstylist, you know how much your clients are constantly asking, what's the best products I should be using? How do I do this with my hair? How do I take care of it? Those tips, again, really show off that you do know what you're talking about, and they can trust you to actually come to you and spend money at your business. So think about being helpful to them, it doesn't have to be about you all the time. Make sure you are responsive to messages, comments, reviews, and customer posts. You will see, it's hard to get those things because we're all very busy individuals. We have stuff to do, we have places to be, we have people to talk to. We don't always have time to interact with the content we are seeing. If somebody took time out of their day to interact with you and your page, that helps your business, because it shows the algorithm, hey, this is useful content, I should show it to more people, so you get a wider reach. So anytime somebody has taken time out of their day to reach out and engage with you, that is helpful for you. You should reward that by responding to them, whether that is answering them with words, giving them a like, whatever. Don't ignore messages, comments, reviews, or customer posts, even if they're negative. I know a lot of small businesses get panicked about somebody leaving a bad review for them online. The thing is, anybody who spends any amount of time on the internet knows there are just some absolutely wild people who twist the entire situation, who can never be pleased, who straight up lie in their reviews. We know those people exist. So when you respond to a really negative, scathing review in a level-handed manner, and you make sure you actually do listen to them in case they do have a point. I see a lot of small businesses especially get defensive. Then that gives people more respect for you. Whereas if you ignore it, you delete it, or you throw a lot of bad words and slander back at them, that makes people think maybe they have a point, maybe there's something to this, and they don't necessarily think highly of your business. So don't ignore it, well, good or bad. Make sure you do interact with it and stay professional, grateful, and humble. Let's see, I was under the impression that I needed to have my Facebook page only about myself, but I can use other people's fun and fascinating work. Absolutely. You can share tips and articles you've seen from other people. You can share inspiration from other hair artists. You can absolutely, it doesn't have to be all about you. You can absolutely talk about other people as long as you are not presenting other people's work as your own. That's the only thing, but you can absolutely cheer on other businesses, share their content. So yeah, absolutely does not have to be about you all the time. I say this a lot in a lot of my social media classes, but the first word in social media is social. You can't be shouting out into the void and ignoring anything that comes your way. You want to talk to people and interact with them, because that's how you use social media. Keep in mind that followers are people too. That seems like such a silly thing to say, but a lot of businesses get so hung up on the numbers of, their reach, their engagement, their followers, blah, blah, blah. And they're just looking at it in a numbers game. But every single one of those numbers is an individual. They followed you for a reason. They need something from you or want something from you. Keep that in mind when you're crafting your content. If you are just getting out a post to get out a post, you're far more likely to create noise that no one really cares about, and that's just clogging up everybody's already very busy feeds. But when you keep in mind that every single time you post, you are talking to people, hopefully that will help you keep in mind, is this content useful, helpful, entertaining, whatever it is that my audience needs from me. And then hopefully the more quality content you post, the more engagement you'll get, and you'll find out social media will be more and more worth it for you. Social media takes time, consistency, and work. I've worked with so many small businesses that start and they'll make some posts for a few weeks and then they're not really seeing anything out of it. And so they just sort of stop and they let their social media feed die. But to establish yourself online, it takes time. People aren't going to find you overnight. You need to be posting consistently for people to even discover that you exist. And then you can need to continue posting consistently so they know they can trust you to get what it is they need out of you. So whatever consistency that is for you, it's different for everybody. Some businesses post several times a day. Some businesses like Goosefoot and Bayview Corner, we post maybe one time a day. Some businesses post once a week or 2 or 3 posts a week. So whatever that consistency is for you, I don't care. There really isn't like a one time to post or how often you should post. It's different for everybody's businesses. But whatever that consistency is for you, that's what you need to stick to. And it also takes work. You need to set aside some time in your day or in your week or in your month to plan out social media posts, get the content you need to make a good post, whether that's photos or videos or crafting the text. You need to set aside time like you are in this workshop now to learn about things and improve your skills. It does not come naturally as much as people think it might. You may have personally been using social media for however long personally, but it's a different strategy for business use. So give yourself the time and permission to put in the work for social media. It is an important facet of your business, and you should be paying attention to that. Should you ask people to pass along your posts? Absolutely. The more shares you get, the more the Facebook's algorithm is going to show it to people that follow you or people that are friends with people who follow you. So the more people who share your content, the better. How many Facebook drafts can you make? I have over 400. 400 drafts, that's amazing. I don't know if there's a ceiling. I have not found it. 400 drafts is very impressive. So yeah, I don't know if there is a ceiling. Don't be afraid to request reviews. It's actually in Facebook and Google's terms of service. They encourage you to ask for reviews. Most people like talking about the cool things they found. They just don't think about it. They forget about it, especially for, weird off the ball services like, Mary Beth's in here, or the bus. Who thinks about reviewing the bus? But if you remind people or you make it a game on one of your posts or a contest or whatever, the more reviews you get, we as human beings don't trust companies. We know they're trying to get something out of us. They're trying to sell something to us, but we trust other people. So whenever I'm going somewhere, that I've never been, I look up the reviews to see what kind of feedback it has. I have absolutely chosen different products or chosen a different place to eat if they have too low of reviews. If they don't have any reviews, not so much, but if they don't have good reviews, I listen to that. I believe people. So, especially your most loyal customers who come back every however often you need for your business, don't be afraid to ask them. Have a sign in your business reminding people to leave you a review. I've actually worked with some businesses who have like a tablet mounted on their desk for people to leave a review right there. You could put a link at the bottom of your receipt to, hey, did you enjoy this? Please leave us a review. It helps a lot. So, most people don't mind. At most, they're just going to ignore you and say no. You're not going to like anger anybody by asking for reviews. So think of fun ways to do reviews. Allison asked about drafts. I will show you this later when we're talking about specific tools, but you can actually craft posts and leave them in Facebook as a draft. And then you can go back and schedule it or post it later. You don't have to make content and post it at the same time. Heidi asked, are videos okay on Facebook? I've made one under 2 minutes now on how to get kids to eat from the rainbow, but I'm on the fence to post it. Videos are huge on Facebook. I don't think I'm talking about it specifically in this class, but the old adage, pictures worth 1,000 words. Videos speak volumes. Videos are the highest growing type of content online. So if you are comfortable making videos, do it. They work very well for social media. And social media, especially Facebook, they're in some ways trying to compete with like TikTok and YouTube, which are very video centric platforms. And so when you post a video, Facebook is more likely to share it with more people because they know that's what people want to see. Videos on Facebook absolutely should be short. 30 seconds to like 2 minutes is the goal. And your video needs to be understandable without audio, because a lot of people on Facebook just sort of scroll, and you have to choose to turn on the audio on a Facebook video. So use captions and graphics for the video to make sense without sound. If somebody gets engaged in it enough, they will turn the sound on. But in order for them to get that engagement, they have to be able to understand what the video is first without turning the sound on. Okay. And then lastly, I will admit Facebook and most social media platforms these days are sort of pay to play. Organic business reach, which means stuff that's just happened naturally without you paying and advertising or anything like that. That has dropped significantly. I think it's under 3% organic reach. So what that means is if you have hundreds of followers, Facebook might show it to like 2 to 5 of them. So if you're seeing really low numbers, it's not your fault. Facebook, among the many backlashes they have been dealing with, has been they're trying to keep people around for longer, and they realized with them flooding them with business content, people weren't sticking around as much. They were on social media to be with their friends and family. So most content Facebook shows you comes from your friends and family, and then ads, and then organic, natural business posts from pages you did choose to follow make up a very small percentage of your feed. So it can be very difficult to reach people, even if you have tons of followers. Facebook is not showing your content to all of those followers. It's really only showing it to people that have consistently engaged with your stuff. So people who like, comment, share, those are the only people that Facebook is regularly showing your stuff to, which can be infuriating. So you do need to do some advertising to be successful on Facebook. The lucky thing is it does not have to be a lot. You can run a $5 ad as often as, or as rarely as you want to. You can do it just $20 when you have an extra, high paying client, drop it on a Facebook ad to get some more attention. You can choose to target new people. You can choose to target people who already follow your page. That'll hopefully bring them back into the fold so they start seeing your content more, even though Facebook had stopped showing it to them. And we'll talk a little bit more about ads later. But just consider, I do recommend paying some amount, putting some amount of budget into your Facebook presence. Why would you make a YouTube? YouTube is a video centric platform. YouTube for most small businesses that have a YouTube, which is not very many. Small businesses are vastly underrepresented on YouTube, but YouTube is a great repository for bigger videos. So say, that 2-minute video on how to get kids to eat from the rainbow was actually just a teaser for a longer workshop like this, or a longer in-depth how-to, or showing off specific products. Longer videos are really at home on YouTube. YouTube actually vastly rewards videos that are 10 minutes or longer. So it's really the longer content. And then also YouTube is a great repository for if you are putting content elsewhere. So if you want to embed videos on your website or in newsletters, it's great to put them on YouTube, and then you get a nice easy embed code to put it on your site. So yeah, that's YouTube. I do actually have a getting started on video class coming up in December if you'd like to take that. So templates. First off, in Facebook, you do actually have templates for pages, which control which tabs and functions show up on your Facebook page, depending on what type of page you have. And you can actually reorganize the tabs. So if you've ever looked at a Facebook page, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull one up now. If you've ever looked at somebody's Facebook page, let's go to Flambeau. So right here, you can see home, reviews, photos, videos, events, about, community, and book online. So these are their tabs. If we go to Goosefoot's, home, about, events, photos, videos, community, groups, reviews, job edits, and then I can edit the tabs. That doesn't show up for people that are not me looking at a Goosefoot's page. So these are the tabs, and you can actually control which ones show up. As you saw, Salon Blue had book online 24/7. We don't, because we don't have anything to book for. Reviews was much higher on their tab because it's super vital for their business. Ours not so much, so it is a little hidden. So if there's something you want up here that's way more important, you can actually control that to some extent. So over here when you're looking at your page, on the manage page section, down Here is settings at the bottom for me. It might be in a slightly different place for you. These are for Facebook. All of these that we're talking about today are for Facebook. Cool. Your page is on all as one. Awesome. So I went into the page settings and you can see the like fourth option right here is templates and tabs. This is a section almost nobody goes and looks at, even though it's so easy to find. So under templates, you can see the template Goosefoot is under is nonprofit. There are business, venues, politicians, services, public figures, restaurants and cafes, shopping, video page, and standard. So you can choose whichever one of these makes the most sense to you. And it'll show you which tabs they recommend having up front. Let's actually look at services. You see services, reviews, shop, offers, and then these ones. So once you've chosen the template you want, now here's all of our tabs. You can see these are the ones that it has in recommended order, but I'm going to turn jobs off because we don't have any jobs listed. We don't have any groups either. So I'm going to turn that one off too. And then you can see I could easily add classes, live video, guides. So there's drives if we're running some sort of fundraising drive. So these are all information that I could add as a tab if I wanted to. And then I can also drag things into new orders. So I'm going to leave about at the top and then events and then classes I'm going to put under events. Oops. I don't know why it keeps bumping that to the top. Mine seems to be fussing a little bit, but usually you can pretty easily reorganize these if you like, and it automatically saves it. So those are the tabs. A lot of people don't pay attention to this. So it's just a nice little tweak that gives you a slightly more control. Fully explore your settings. There is a lot in there that people don't necessarily know exists. Ooh, I'm going to close my blinds really quick. That glare on my lens is terrible. I'm not a Star Wars director. I don't need these lens flares. Okay, sorry about that. I just noticed the lens flare. So let's actually, I'm gonna go into the settings and show you, just kind of poke around. So in page settings again, under general, there's a lot of, this is a very overwhelming page just because it's a long list of stuff, but you can hide your page if you want to. I'm not sure why you would, but maybe you're reorganizing things, revitalizing it. Maybe your business is temporarily closed. You could hide it if you wanted to. You can control if people can publish to your page. I would just leave this on, but if you are having a bad time with like trolls or anything like that, you could hide them if you needed to. Auto-generated captions. This is if you upload any video, so it can automatically generate some captions. These aren't always the best. Sometimes they're a little messy. It doesn't always understand you, but it is better than nothing, especially for hearing impaired folks. Would you ever do an advanced class and take a look at our personal Facebook pages? I could, if you're interested. We have done intensive courses before on things like graphic design and web design. So I don't see why we couldn't help out with specific pages if folks are interested. Go ahead and send me an email that you're interested and I'll look at it when I'm scheduling the courses after the new year. You can let people post, you can share posts to your stories or other people's stories. They can share it to their stories, I should say. You can audience optimization for the page. This uses the algorithm to restrict your audience if it needs to. I pretty much just leave this alone. I only get into this if some of my clients are something like a winery where your audience needs to be 21 and older. Leave messages open so that people can message your page, or you can turn it off. People can tag you. So you can see these are all very self-explanatory. You can download your page if you ever need a backup of the content you've posted. You can merge pages. If you have accidentally created more than one page for a business, you can merge them, or you can also delete your page if you're ever actually completely done. Messaging settings I find a lot more fun to play with. So this is Facebook Messenger, and you do have some control over how things work. So just for when you're using it, if you hit the enter, the return key, you can send the message, or if people have to click send. I usually turn it off so that I have to click send to send the message, because it's not uncommon for me to multi-line a post. So I have an enter so that I'll go to the next line, and I don't want it to send. I just want to be able to do a line break. But whatever works for you. You can show a greeting so that as soon as they get to your page, the messenger pops up and said like, hello, welcome to blah, blah, blah. Here's our hours. This is when we're going to respond. Or, hey, we'd love to hear from you. Let us, send us a message. Whatever greeting makes sense for you, you have the ability to set that there. Facebook Messenger, you don't really need this. This is if you're ever just embedding something. You can add Messenger to your website if you have certain kinds of Messenger or websites and chat plugins. So people could use Facebook Messenger to reach you on your website if for some reason you needed that. My favorite thing down here is during a Messenger conversation, you can set up automated responses. So I am a big advocate for separation of personal life and work. You don't need to work 24/7, but people are kind of used to instant gratification on social media. So if you set up the automated response, and you can set it up at specific times. So say after 6 p.m., that automated response kicks in so that if anybody sends you a message, you can say, hey, thank you for sending your message. Our hours are between 10 and 6 or whatever it is for your organization. Somebody will return your message after 10 once we're back in the office. That way they get their instant gratification that they did get a response, but they're not actually taking away from your evening time, your personal time. So I really like the automated responses. And it's also really great for businesses who don't really like to use Messenger at all. I know some of those businesses. And so if you set up the automated responses of like, hey, thanks for messaging me on Facebook. I rarely check my messages. For a faster response, email me or give me a call, whatever works best for you. And then you can also show people who's sending messages on behalf of your page. That's really only like relevant at all if you have a big organization and it's important for accountability for you for whatever reason. But for most people, I would leave that off. It's coming from your business, whoever is sending it. You can see regardless, but the person talking necessarily can't. Page info, you all probably updated this when you started your page, but this is where you can edit it if you need to. The name of your organization, your username, short description. You can change which categories you're in. It automatically sets some, or you chose some when you set up your page. But if you are ever changing in the future, you can edit these here. You can only pick 3 categories, so keep that in mind. You can set up your contact. Short description is best. Short description is the only thing that's allowed in here. You have a character limit of 255 characters. So very short. Characters is spaces, punctuation, everything. So the description has to be very short. I think there's space for it farther down. Yeah, down here in the more section, but the description up at the top has to be very short. You can set up your contact information. Keep in mind, any contact information you set in here is publicly available. So if you don't want something, you don't want people to have your email, make sure you click this button so that it doesn't show it to anybody. But the more contact information you are comfortable providing, the better for you. It makes you look more legitimate as a business. You can set up your address. Again, you can hide this if you are a home-based business, if you don't have a storefront or physical location that people can go to. And then does your page travel to its customers? That's a really helpful tip for some of you. Some of you move around. And then can you sell stuff online? Service area, if you travel to people, you can set up a service area that you are willing to work in. You can, it says here, you can select up to 10 neighborhoods, cities, or regions. You can set up your hours. These are really important if you are a physical business so that people know when they can patronize you. You can set up permanently closed if you are actually closing your doors. Always open if you're something really passive like parks, beaches, or streets, or you can have no hours available if you are again, somebody who goes to customers or like the travel business, the tourism, the tours business, those kind of things. You could have no hours available if it depends on the client. Temporary service changes. This was added for COVID. You can operating as usual, temporarily closed, or open with service changes, just to let people know if things are working a little differently due to COVID. This will probably go away in the future. I don't know how long, but if this is relevant to your business still now, because we are still in the middle of a pandemic, please feel free to mark any of these options. And again, you can have a link to your privacy policy if you have one, products. Here's our additional information with a much longer description. If you are a physical business and you offer free Wi-Fi, always fun or even paid Wi-Fi or free Wi-Fi with purchase. It's good to let people know because there are people who will choose, especially restaurant wise or cafe, they'll choose one or the other if they have Wi-Fi available. You can set up a price if you are a business. You can let people know how much you cost. How would you handle a break? I honestly wouldn't really change my Facebook, these settings for Facebook just for a break, unless it was like a month or longer vacation. If it's just like a short vacation, like a week, 2 weeks, something like that, I would just make a post about it. I wouldn't change anything in my settings. And then if you have other accounts, your Instagram page. I don't know why mine's not hooked up. I will fix that later. Showed you guys the templates. Event ticketing, if you use Eventbrite, you can sell tickets directly on Facebook if you have any sort of events. It's very windy outside. I hope everybody is safe today. You can set up how you get notifications. So when people like your stuff, comment, subscribe, or share, anything like that, you can get notifications. These are global notifications that pop up here. You can set specific, do you want it to email you? Do you want it to text you? I personally don't, but you could if you wanted to. Recurring ads. We will talk about that when we get to the ad section, Carrie. Advanced messaging. These are just some additional ones. Responses are all provided by people. Responses are partially automated with some support by people, whatever makes sense for you. You can connect to different kind of apps or deconnect them if you need to. You can set up, you can ask for specific features from the messenger team if you want them. I have spent very little time in here, so don't feel like you have to. I just want to show you there's a lot of different stuff here. You can set up badges. So top fan badge is pretty common. You can let people who constantly interact with you be recognized as a top fan. It's a pretty automated system, but if for whatever reason you do not want this to be a thing at all, you can turn it off. Page roles is how you let people do things. So for a lot of you guys, you are the only person in your business. So it's pretty much just you as the admin. But if you have any, somebody you've hired outside help to do it, or if you have like a family member or an employee or anything like that that helps you with your social media, you can add them as a page role here. The options are editor, admin, moderator, advertiser, analyst, or you can set up custom permissions. Admins can have access to the full content of the page. They can do anything that you can do. They can make posts, do ads, delete things. They can delete your entire page if they wanted to. They can remove you or remove other people. They can add new people. So be careful on who you give the admin permission to, because they can do everything. Editors can make content. They can interact with Messenger. They can respond to and delete comments. They can create content. They can do ads, and they can look at the insights. But they can't control anything on the back end of the page. They can't change up permissions on any person using it. They can't delete the page. They can't anything like that. Most of you, if you have a helper, you want to put them in as an editor. Moderators can only interact with the chat, so they can approve or remove content from other people. They can delete comments, things like that. Advertisers only have access to your ads. So if you hire an advertising firm, that's what you would give them permission to. They can start and run ads for you. They can monitor the insights related to those ads. Analysts really only have access to the insights, so they can see how your page is doing, and they can create reports from there, but they can't make any posts. They can't delete any posts, anything like that. And then custom, you can set up, yes, I want them access to this, but not that. I find their standard roles are useful for 99% of situations. Diversity info is a new section they've added. So this is mostly information for Facebook, but they also might give you access to things. I'm not super sure on this because, being honest here, Goosefoot is not a diverse organization. We are very white. We're largely women, but if you have diversity within your organization, you can add that here if you want to. I haven't explored the full extent of it because, like I said, it's a pretty new setting. You can add people in other pages. So here's, you can see where people who like your page. So if you've ever wondered, but how do I know who likes my page? It's right here under people and other pages. So you can see who they are. You can set a preferred page audience. They've moved this elsewhere. So I'm not sure why they leave it in here. If you are a political organization or certain social issues like credit, financing, things like housing, there are restrictions on what ads you can run. So you have to fill out this information. I don't think anybody in here falls under that, but if you're ever helping somebody with their political campaign, make sure you pay attention to that section. You can see if they have set up any limits on your ad accounts. I don't think any of you would have any limits on it because you're a very small business. Yeah, no worries, Heidi. That's why we record this and upload it. So yeah, I'm not going to go through all of these settings. As you can see, there's a ton of them, but there's a lot of useful tools in here that a lot of people don't know exist. So don't be afraid to play around with your page settings. You're not going to break Facebook. They break that on their own. They don't give you the option to do that. So moving on from settings, let's start talking about content. First off, I want to talk about stories. Stories are right here at the top of your page. The feed, when you're on your main feed, it's boom, right there at the top. They copied this over from Instagram, who copied it over from, my brain is blanking on the name of Snapchat. But basically stories, they're prime real estate because they're right at the top of the page every time. People get reminded that there's stories in a lot of different places on the feed. But that content disappears after 24 hours. So it creates that kind of fear of missing out. People have to look at it before it goes away forever. It's also not integrated in the regular feed. So you're not going to see anybody's stories by scrolling. You're going to see them always at the top. And it's a couple different places on the mobile app, but it's very in your face. The content should be vertical. A lot of Facebook prioritizes more square or horizontal content because that's, the orientation of our screens. But stories came from primarily mobile use. So they take up the entire screen on mobile. So whenever you're making content for stories, keep that in mind. You're going to want a vertical orientation on it. Because they are prime real estate and they create that fear of missing out and they go away, it really does drive engagement. People interact with it a lot more. So it can increase your organic reach for your page and your information. It can humanize and familiarize your brand because it is content that is going to go away in 24 hours. It doesn't have to be as carefully crafted. You can do goofy, fun, human things on it and not have to worry too much because it is going to be gone in 24 hours. So that can create that sense of intimacy and the familiarity that makes people look at you as a person and not a business. If you are doing stories, it needs to be quick, snappy content that you don't have to think about. Because again, it's going to be gone in 24 hours. So don't spend too much of your time thinking about it. If you don't want to use stories, don't feel like you have to. I an individual, have never in my life posted a story despite running the pages for multiple businesses. But stories could be really helpful for if you have a quick turnaround deal. They're really great for restaurants if you have, a special of the day. I can't tell you how often I've seen, especially from like Would-Be Donuts, like, oh, here's this sandwich that looks amazing. Oh, wait, this post was from 3 days ago and Facebook is only just now showing it to me. Thank you for that. But with a story, it's gone in 24 hours. So if I'm still seeing it, it's still relevant. When you're making stories content, you just click on the stories icon that's right there at the top with your face on it, or on your page. You can also make it in a couple different places. But the best stories content is behind the scenes stuff. How is it made? How, unboxing of all your product, whatever makes sense to you, but what things happen behind the curtain. Tips or short how-tos are very popular on stories. Again, these nice snappy little content that's just easy to consume. Teaser content, if you have something really cool coming soon, it's nice to tease it on stories so that way you reach your most avid fans first before you release it to the entire audience. You can set up exclusive offers. So this is a good way to test stories. A code or a phrase or a specific product that is only available to people who saw that story. You can run surveys if you have questions, and not high stakes surveys, but like, you got a new animal in, what should you name it? Or should you buy this product in red or blue? Or should you put this, piece of equipment here or there? Nice short little things that get people engaged and help you decide on things, but are not, super vital that you really should be spending time thinking about. You can also put up time-sensitive information like I was talking about. If you have a limited time event or special or deal, stories are a great place to put that because after 24 hours, it goes away. Here's some story examples. Some of them, like Booze Your Delivery, is a teaser. Obviously, this is something they're going to announce to public at large later, but it's a nice teaser for people who regularly check their content. Money does a lot of stories on their news articles that come out. And as you can see at the bottom there, you can swipe up to see more and it'll actually take you to that news article. Pop Sugar runs fun little polls. Will you be tuning into the show to see if Black Panther will sweep the Oscars? Can't wait, setting up my DVR. Those are both yes answers. Obviously, it's not a serious poll, but they're, it's something fun and engaging. And then again, you can swipe up to actually open up that article. Blink 182 was running for their concert, they were running they were letting their most loyal fans know in advance about the tickets before they publicly announced it. So you could get the tickets if you actually looked at their stories before it went live everywhere else. How do I run a poll? Let's go ahead and open up a story. So if I were to create a story, you can see all my photos from stuff I'm working on. We'll do this one because it's funny. It's not hoarding if it's plants. Ooh. And then you can add text. This is a little, I find, easier to do when you're on mobile. But might not be giving it to me because I am trying to do it as a person, not. No, I don't want to create an ad. Actually, I was going to show you guys this in a bit, but I went into the business suite that we will be talking about in a bit. Creating a story. Going to add the media again. And then here you can see there's creative tools, so stickers, and people can click on stuff once you've got it on there. And then you can select certain links as well. So they seem to remove the poll option that I have in this screenshot. But you can still use these stickers, and people can leave comments on your story as well. So that's how you add text. Text is in the creative tools right here. And so then you can use, you can type whatever you want. So whatever. You can change the color. You can change the font, all that fun stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I personally highly recommend just playing around with stories and seeing what makes sense for you and how you want to use it. There's really not a right way to use it, or wrong way. Just play with it and have fun, because it does disappear in 24 hours. So it's a lot less pressure. Messenger, I did already talk about these tools when we were actually going through the settings, but again, it's a great customer service tool because it's actually interacting with people. You can set up your messenger to auto respond to people so that you don't have to every single time, especially if you're somebody who doesn't check the messenger constantly. So you can have people call you, tell them to call you or email you instead, whatever makes more sense for you. Make sure you respond to messages. Facebook is not always the best at telling me I have messages. Now that I've downloaded the Business Suite app, I do get better notice, but occasionally Facebook fails to mention that somebody messaged my page. So I would recommend going and checking those messenger folders at least once a week, just to make sure that nothing has come in that you weren't alerted to. And again, you just do that by going to your page, and then, oops. So if you're on your page that you own, oops, did they fully move it out of here? Wow, they fully moved it out of here. Okay, so it used to be just down here, but now it's up here in Business Suite. So if you go into the inbox, you can see any comments you've gotten, but you can also see any messages you've received. So I find it really important to come in and check these from time to time, just to make sure that you didn't miss anything, because Facebook doesn't always tell you. Make sure, again, feel free to encourage reviews either in person or digitally, and have fun with people. These are other human beings. It's okay. You don't have to be stiff and tight and professional all the time unless that's your business's personality. It is okay to talk with people in a more relaxed and familiar kind of way as well. So again, I showed you guys this already. Ads. Had a couple of questions about ads. Ads are not only for the hard sell. Obviously, you can sell products on ads, but unlike ads pretty much anywhere else, it doesn't always have to be about selling something. Ads can help you get greater awareness, either to new circles or to reach people that already follow you who just aren't seeing your content lately. And it can draw more people to your page by clicking through the ad. So it's not all just what's self-contained in the ad. People could see your ad and see that interesting content and click through to your page to see more. So it's not always just about the one thing you're advertising. Facebook and Instagram do share the same highly intuitive ad system. In fact, when you're setting up an ad, you can choose if you want it to show up just on Facebook or on Facebook and Instagram. I think it's really easy to use. It walks you through step by step, really straightforward, and you can play with it, and you can put it at any budget that you are willing to. So there's a few different ways to create an ad. There's the boost, post, or promote that you're probably used to seeing. Pretty much anytime you make a Facebook post, you will see at the bottom of that post right here, scroll down till we get to a post, boost. So boost event or boost post. So you can see, you can get, this is pretty much is what you're probably used to seeing because it pops up on almost every post. It does not pop up for things you've shared. So if you shared someone else's content, I'm trying to think, did I share somebody else's post recently? Apparently not. But if you share a post from someone else, you can't boost that. And as you saw for that class up here, I can't boost this because the class is over with, it's past. But that'll pretty much show up on every single post. Conversely, there's the promote button that's right here at the top or down here at the bottom. This is just to promote your entire page. These are the most straightforward ways and the ways people are most used to creating ads. But there's also the ad section, for me at least, that shows up here at the top, where I usually create ads though, if it's not on the post itself, because I do boost specific posts pretty regularly. I actually go all the way into the ad center, which again is here on the left in the options. So with this ad center, you can see, how much money I've spent recently and what the results were, and the specific ads that were included in those and how they did. So I can see all that content here, but I can also go ahead and right here, create an ad. So this gives me really in-depth, more control, in my opinion, than just boosting a post. So automated ads help, Facebook uses its algorithm to adjust your ad as it goes to reach more and more specific, more and more successful people. You can also create a new ad. You can boost a specific post or an Instagram post, or you can boost a specific event. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go create a new ad just to show you guys how this works. And you get this nice little ad preview here. So I can let Facebook automatically change stuff, or I can set up a different goal. So if I want to get more calls, website visitors, more messages, more page likes, or promote it locally, I like the promote locally option. This targets people who are physically near your business, not necessarily people who live near your business. For a lot of you, that's pure semantics. But especially again, for restaurants of that sort, hitting people who are physically near you is far more important than people who live near you, because especially on Southwood B, we have a lot of folks who live here, but they work off island. And so they may not be interacting with your business because they're off away from the island, out of the area during your business hours. But if you're a store or a restaurant, you might want to target people who are in your area, even if they don't live here. So if somebody is visiting from Florida and you're promoting your business locally, while they're visiting, they will see your ad. You have a private salon group that is active and fun. I've kept my page basic and do not get much interaction. I like the privacy of the group, but the page is boring. I guess I'm scared of public exposure. Yeah, I get that. I will say groups are really great for targeting people who already know you exist. And I don't know what your salon is like. You might be happy with the customers you have and really only interested in interacting with them. That's fine. Some businesses aren't taking more clients right now, but if you are trying to reach new people, trying to get new customers in the door, your private group is not going to reach those people because they're not in the group. Whereas with your page, somebody new could stumble across that. So it's really weighing the pros and cons for you. What do you want out of it? And what's the best way to get that? So yeah, back to ads. Choose whichever one makes sense to you. And then you can start your ad creative here. So go ahead and type the description, whatever content you want right up here. And then automatic enhancements. Again, this lets Facebook start making adjustments to your text and your pictures, to using the algorithm to better reach people that you want to reach. Then you can select your media. So you can add images or videos. And you can select up to 5 of them. So these are ones that I have already uploaded to my ad account. You can also select photos that you've posted on Instagram or your page. You can use some stock photos that they have available, or you can also upload some new ones right here. So whatever one makes most sense for you, make sure you choose those. And then again, you can crop images, choose different images, upload new photos, or choose videos. This headline here is this link right here. What do you want that to show? Right now, it's just defaulting to the Goosefoot website, so it's just home Goosefoot. But if I wanted it to be something like Explore South would be, and then the ad preview updates continuously to show you what it actually says. You need to keep this very short because as you can see, this preview is for mobile. So it's going to look a little differently. And you can see all previews. You can see how to look on desktop right column, desktop news feed. My computer's struggling to load it right now, but mobile news feed. So you can see where it's going to look in different places. Instant articles, in-stream video. This isn't a video, so it's not working. So it'll show you what it'll look like in different situations. And you can decide, oh, yes, I like the way that looks everywhere, or, oh, maybe I need to adjust it. The words are getting cut off here or something. So you can see where it's how it is going to look like on all these different platforms. And you can adjust it from there. Special ad category, you have to mark this if it is about credit, employment, housing, social issues, elections, or politics. Any of those, thanks to the last 4 or 5 years, Facebook has been getting a lot of scrutiny for this. So this is their attempt to deal with it. You have to mark this if it's in any of those categories. If you don't mark this and you don't fill out the right information, Facebook will reject it. Facebook can actually be a little trigger happy with this. I have had ads rejected about a meeting about our public housing because the word housing was in there. So make sure you pay attention to all of these fields. You can set your audience. This is probably my favorite thing about Facebook. Any other more traditional advertising, television, print, anything like that, they have their audience. They'll tell you how many people it'll reach, and you just have to say okay to that. But for you actually get on social media, Facebook especially, you get a lot of control over this. So you can set up, you can smart audience, so it'll choose the audience it wants to. You can choose your targeting. You can choose people who like your page, people who like your page and their friends. So therefore people that are similar to people who already like your content. You can choose people in your local area. Again, this is people physically near you, not people necessarily that live here, or you can have saved audiences. As you can see, Facebook, I don't think knows my page very well. I don't think any of these make sense. The smart audience, anybody living in the United States, 30 miles around this address, anyone 18 to 65, that's fine. But the interests, Zillow, Celebrity, People Magazine, Peloton, Wayfair, Sea Shepherd, David Attenborough, like none of those make sense to me at all. So I almost never use smart audience just because it's baffling. I don't know where they get that. So I actually usually use targeting so that I have more control. So I hit this little pencil icon next to it, and I can target men, women, or all. For Goosefoot, it's everybody. But if you have a women's clothing boutique, obviously you choose women. If you have, anything with alcohol, you might want to up this to 21 and over. You can full adjustment to gender, age, and location. 30 miles around Langley includes Camino, which I don't think people from Camino would come here for something. So I'm actually going to remove that. You can choose something specific like Langley. There we go, down here. So I can choose, if I choose a city, I have to pick a radius, and I can go as low as 10 miles around that. If I choose, I think a zip code, did they fix this? Yes, zip code gives me this specific thing, but it does also do 25 miles around it, which I don't have control over. And then I can also choose specific addresses. So 5611 Baby Road is where the Goosefoot office is located, and I can get as little as 1 mile around that and as big as 50 miles around that. So whatever makes sense to you. And you can also do multiple locations. So say we chose that, and then I also want to reach people in Coopville. So again, going to shrink that down to 10 miles. So there, now I have pretty much the entire island, and unfortunately a little bit of Camino as well, whatever makes the most sense for you. So there's a lot of options in the location. And then detailed targeting, these are people's interests. Again, I don't know why they've picked any of these for us, because these don't make any sense. Macy's, REI, The New Yorker, family's fine. Family can stay there. But small business, marketing, small business owners. So this is a behavior. Online shopping, travel, there's interests, there's behaviors, frequent travelers, frequent international travelers, returned from travel 2 weeks ago, returned from travels 1 week ago, commuters. Commuters could be super important for Maribeth. So as you can see, there's different things that might be interesting to you. And then you can also browse suggestions as well. So a lot of different categories. You can get as detailed or as broad as you want. For a lot of you, location is really important. For some of you, you're an online business, so you can target anywhere. You know your business better than anyone else. And then as you can see, it gives you tells you how good your audience is. How do I get the recording after? I will email everybody the link once I upload it to YouTube. So save my audience, good. And then now you can set how long you want the ad to run, or if you want it to end by a specific date instead. And then you can set daily budgets. How much is it going to take you per day? And then it'll give you how much it'll be overall as well. I need to remove that pixel. It doesn't exist anymore. And then you have to set up where you want it to appear. Again, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and how you're going to pay for it. But you can do as little as $1 a day. You can there's really no upper limit. The slider runs to 500, but you can type in whatever you wanted here. Keep in mind, again, this is your daily budget. So pay attention to this overall budget, and it'll tell you based on what you have chosen of audience and how long you want it to run and how much you want to spend. This is how much Facebook is probably going to show it to people and estimated how many people will click through on it. You can continue to adjust until you're happy with those numbers. That's the nice thing, unlike traditional media where this is how much it costs and that's it. You get more flexibility and more control until you're happy with it. And then once you're all done, you just hit promote now. It'll take it a little bit to process it, and then it'll upload it and it'll be running. So I do like their ad center. I think it's really easy to use. You just follow it step by step down the line until you're happy with it. Any questions on ads before we wander off too far from here? Great. I need to remove this link. Previously, you could access the ad center by going to business.facebook.com, but that is now replaced with the Facebook Business Suite. So which is a way better tool, but it does include ads. So we will talk about that in the next section in a bit. If you are someone who regularly runs audiences and you don't want to, or runs ads, and you don't want to go through that rigmarole of setting up the audience every single time, you can create custom audiences in the ad center. As you could see when I was showing you my customer or my audience list of options, one of them was called Coopville. That is another organization I run ads for pretty regularly. So I have audience saved in there that's just titled Coopville because it made sense to me. So that I don't have to set up all of those custom settings every single time. So you can save as many audiences as you like as well that makes sense to you. For more information about ads, obviously this is a huge subject that we could talk about for ages, but we do have 2 classes that are pretty useful for it and just focused on ads. Again, these videos are available on Goosefoot's YouTube channel. We have recorded pretty much all of the workshops we've offered over the last 1.5 years, and we've recorded them up on our YouTube channel, so you can access those at any time, 24/7, completely free. So please help yourself to them. I will be sending out these slides and a link to this class once it's uploaded, so you don't have to worry about trying to write these down really quickly. But we've got one on Beyond the Boost, crafting effective social media ads, and content calendars for planning out your content posts, including ad buys. So if you're interested in more information on that, I do have classes just for those things. Please feel free to go check them out. And then I think we have shorter versions as well, like 45-minute crash courses. So whatever makes sense for your learning style. Okay, Facebook Pixel, you might have seen at the end of that ad list. Facebook Pixel is a code that you can insert onto your website. So the unfortunate thing is that you do give Facebook your website's data, but it does help you more effectively track how successful your Facebook ads are in actually getting people to do things on your website. So there are trade-offs. But if you want to use it, it's right there at the bottom in the ad section. Again, Facebook Pixel, you have it walks you through on how to insert the code, and you can actually choose, if you're using one of the like 4 websites that they're pretty familiar with, you can click a button and it'll like prompt you to log into your website builder account and they'll insert it for you. If you're using WordPress or making your own website, it'll give you a code that you can embed into your website. Or if you have somebody else that has built your website for you, there's a button to email them the instructions to install Facebook Pixel on your site. So you have to decide for yourself if the trade-off is worth it. I had used it on one site previously. That site no longer exists, and I haven't done it on other sites because I have other ways of tracking my data on my websites. But if it's important to you, this is an option. So as I showed, you can integrate it if you're using BigCommerce, Google Tag Manager, Magneto, Segment, Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, or WooCommerce. You can manually install the code yourself, or you can email the instructions to your developer so that they have to do it for you. So catalogs, if you are selling anything, which I don't know if anybody in this class is selling any products, but if you wanted to sell any products on Facebook, you have to set up a catalog first, and Instagram as well. You have to have the product set up on Facebook catalog in order to sell them on Instagram as well. Instagram, I think you can only sell physical products, but Facebook, you can choose, as you can see, e-commerce, travel, real estate, or auto. So when you're setting up your products on Facebook, it doesn't have to be your entire product catalog. It's just whatever product you want to sell on Facebook. Your options are to either manually upload the product data, or you can connect to Shopify, BigCommerce, OpenCart, or WooCommerce. Those are the big ones that most people using online e-commerce tools are probably using one of those. So you can connect it to those accounts so it can automatically pull the data and you didn't have to duplicate the effort. That's also really nice if you are selling anything with an actual quantity limit. So if you only have 20 bottles of shampoo and you're selling it on both Facebook and your website, you want it to be pulling from the same source so that you don't sell 13 bottles on your website and 10 bottles on Facebook, and oops, now you're 3 bottles shy. So being able to connect those tools is really important for somebody who does regular sales. But if you don't, if you're custom making stuff, if you're much lower volume, you don't have any of those tools, whatever, you can manually upload the product information as well. Make sure the things you absolutely need to include for any online sales is picture of the product, the name of the product, a description, the website link for where they can buy it, because Facebook just shows off the product. Facebook does not actually process the sale for you. So where does that sale actually take place? Make sure you have that linked, and then make sure you have the price. When people shop, they tend to like to look at things, feel them, touch them, smell them, maybe look at them from lots of different angles. Those are things that aren't possible to do online. So you have to use high quality images, video, and really thorough descriptions in order to simulate that environment as closely as possible to real life sales. That's how you will be successful with online sales. So I'm actually going to pull up the Facebook product catalog just to show you guys. We won't spend too much time on it because, again, like I said, I don't think anybody in class today is selling anything online, but just in case that's an incorrect assumption. So again, facebook.com/products. You can set up your shop name, and then you can start adding a catalog of products. So entertainment and media, auto, real estate, travel, e-commerce. And then you can connect to a partner platform, or you upload your individual products. Again, just like pretty much everything else on Facebook, it walks you through step by step very easily. So as long as you go to facebook.com/product/catalog, which is right here at the top as well. And again, I will send these slides out. You can upload those pretty easily. And then once it is uploaded in your catalog, then you will have the option to display it on your Facebook page as a shopping item that'll be shopping tray that'll be right at the top of your page to anybody who visits. You can show it on your Instagram. You can make ads based on those specific products. So if you're selling anything online, consider adding a Facebook catalog so that you can tap into the tools that Facebook offers for those kinds of things. So insights. Facebook used to have analytics, and so you could track all of the data of how your site or how your page was doing back to like the beginning of your page. Unfortunately, this year, for some reason, they decided to change it to insights, which is the same thing that Instagram uses, and it only goes back 28 days. So any farther than that, and you don't get the data. If you want to track things over time, you really need to export your data regularly so that you can compile it in other tools. But Facebook only now tracks the data for the last 28 days at most. But you can get information pretty immediately on how your page is doing. Page views, are people looking at your page? Are people liking your page? How many people are interacting with your content, stories? Are people recommending your page? So you can see the data on how people are responding to your content. This is for Goosefoot, and it all is all down a tiny bit because I made less posts last week, so that's fine by me. But if you're trying new things, it's really important to regularly check your insights to make sure you're on the right track, you're not losing people, and make sure those new things you're trying are paying off. So you get to your insights by, again, go back to your Facebook page. And in this left-hand column where pretty much everything is, you're going to go to insights, which is near the bottom. For me, it's the fourth from the top, fourth from the bottom. As you can see, here's your insights. It defaults to the last 7 days. You can pick yesterday, today, or the last 28 days, and that's it. So super easy. And then you can also see the impact of specific posts as well. So I really like it. I'm a little bummed that they took it off of the whole historical data that it used to offer, but at least they still offer something to track how successful things are. This is only available to business pages. You will not find anything like this available on your personal page. And then it also lets you compare how you're doing compared to other organizations. It has some suggested ones, but you can also watch specific pages as well. So any questions on insights? Otherwise, we'll talk about the business suite and then we'll do a recap, and then it's all your guys' question time, or we can wrap up early. So Facebook Business Suite. This is the new tool. I have been waiting for it, and I'm so glad it's finally here. Facebook Business Suite has been an app that you could download on your mobile device for a little over a year. But it used to only be mobile, but now they have the desktop version finally. So the Facebook Business Suite allows you to do things that you used to have to use like 12 other outside tools in order to do, but now it's all self-contained on Facebook itself. So as mentioned earlier, you can either go to business.facebook.com to automatically log into it. Or again, if you're looking at your Facebook page, right here in the left-hand column, the top thing that's been dominating this column the entire time we've been talking today is Business Suite. So if I click on that, it'll go ahead and take me right into it. And I can see right here, there's so much more control than there used to be. And I deeply appreciate it. I need to fix that. I don't know why it keeps doing that. So here's a navigation. that you don't really need because everything is also on this page itself. You can switch pages if you have multiple pages. Most of you are probably not like me and you don't have 12 different pages. But you can see a list of comments that people have left on your site, so you can easily respond to them. You can see anything anybody has sent you in Messenger or in Instagram direct messages and your comments as well. I'm going to go back to home now. You can set up to-do lists. So, and then you can set up goals to help you reach specific goals that you hopefully set up when we talked about earlier. You can see a brief glimpse into your analytics. You can see any steps that you might need to progress to plan things out. More excitingly, you can, oh, this was yesterday's post. Haha. The nicest thing that you didn't used to be able to do, but you can do now, is you can create posts in Business Suite and you can post them. I'm actually, for this, I'm going to show you guys Goosefoots. I'm having a hard time with the Instagram account. It keeps telling me to ensure that I can post, which I can. But we're going to go to the Baby Corner page because that one's working fine. So Baby Corner page, you can make a post and you can post at the same time to Facebook and Instagram. You didn't used to be able to do this with Facebook. You could post a post to Instagram and then push it to Facebook, or you could use external tools like Buffer or Hootsuite to post on both, to schedule posts. But you used to not be able to do it from a desktop. You couldn't post to Instagram from desktop at all. But Business Suite has changed everything. Now you can. So as you can see right here at the top, I've got placements. I've got the Facebook page, and I can also post it on Instagram at the same time. I can add my text, whatever kind of text I want, hashtags, emojis, anything like that. You can add your media that we talked about, videos, photos. You can make a new video, and then you can add a location tag if you want to. So again, for example, let's see, what's a good post just off the top of my head? My brain is dead. I can't spell our verb. Farmer parents, there we go. I can tag them. So made my post. I've got my image here. I can add more photos if I want to have slide through. I can set up a call to action if I want people to message me. I can add a link if I want people to click on anything. And then on Instagram, I can change this up. So this isn't clickable for Instagram because that's the Facebook tag. So instead, oops, where did it go? Did you get rid of my text? That was a weird glitch that's not happened before. So on Instagram, I can customize the text specifically for Instagram. Call to action was on the Facebook settings right here. The only option they allow right now is get messages. So you can customize things to Facebook versus Instagram. You can add hashtags on Instagram that you don't have on Facebook. You can add links on Facebook that don't work on Instagram. So you can separate these entirely. And then once you have it all set up looking exactly how you want it to, you can then publish. You can save as a draft for the person who was asking about drafts earlier, or my favorite thing, you can schedule posts. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't have time to be on social media every single day. I have other stuff that comes up today. I've been in and out of meetings since I got out of bed. So I don't have time to be on social media all the time, but I can eke out a couple of hours on my slowest day of the week and schedule posts for the rest of the week so that I don't have to keep individually doing it every single time. So there's really, I think you can schedule posts up to a month, maybe up to 3 months in advance, I think. So you can schedule posts up to 3 months in advance. You can set the specific time you want it to be at. You have a lot more control. So this alone, I've been waiting for it. I'm so excited it's here. Now I can post to Instagram from a desktop. I don't have to use my phone every single time. I can post to both simultaneously while still customizing it for each platform. I can save it if it's something I need to come back to and edit it a little bit more. I can schedule it so that it'll go out later. So I'm so happy that this tool is finally here. So by all means, use it. As I showed you guys earlier, you can also create stories. Can you have more than one? Would you mean more than one scheduled post or more than one draft? Absolutely. I don't think there's an upper limit. You can schedule or post as many as you want. Scheduled, yeah, so one of the organizations I work with is the Coopville Arts and Crafts Festival. For most of the year, I don't really post, but for like 3 months leading up to the festival, I post every single vendor. Since they have about 180 artisan vendors and then more food vendors, that's a lot of people to post. So it ends up being about 3 posts a day, every single day until the festival. I don't have time to make that many posts every single day. I have a job. So I will actually sit down on Sunday and I will schedule 3 posts a day every single day for at least the next week, sometimes longer. I went on vacation this summer and scheduled for 2 weeks straight, and I didn't run into an upper limit. So if there is a limit, I have not yet found it, but you can schedule or draft as many posts as you need to in advance. It's such a great tool. It's so nice. Like I said, it compiles all the comments on both Facebook and Instagram in one place. It shows you how the reach on different posts are on different platforms, whether people commented, liked, shared it, looked at it. You can see your planner for stuff coming up. You can see recent ads that you've run. So all of those different tools that used to be scattered to so many different places are all collected here in one place. How you can share from your group page to your business page. That's a little tricky because a lot of groups, especially private groups, you can't share content out of the group from. It's part of the privacy settings, but you can usually like download the picture and then copy the text, and then you could go in here and schedule that out. Or if it's not a private group, if it is a public group, you might be able to copy a link to the post and then post that, and it'll go and it'll pull the data. You can only make those kind of posts on Facebook. You can't share that to Instagram, but that's probably how I would do it, is actually save the content from the group and then re-upload it to your page, because a lot of groups have privacy settings, so you can't share the post directly across. Oh, another nice thing about Business Suite that they've added, they have an inspiration section. So if you're stuck, you don't know what kind of content to make, you don't know what to talk about, you can see stories from similar businesses. You can also see posts from similar businesses that you can share, that you can replicate yourself, anything like that. So, I do genuinely like this tool. I'm glad they added it. I've been waiting for it. I was telling my boss very excitedly about it back in March, and she was like, cool, put it in your workshop. And I'm like, it's not rolled out yet. So I'm glad it is now officially rolled out, is done, and everybody should have access to the Facebook Business Suite. So use it. Made my life a lot easier, and I hope it makes your life easier too. All right, to recap, since we're about done here, stop focusing on the hard sell. Social media is about connecting and communicating. You're not screaming into a void, hawking your wares constantly, because then people are going to walk past you even quicker, because that's not why people go online. They go to connect, to entertain, to distract, to learn. So make sure you're providing content in those threads, not just selfishly to make sales, because that selfish desire will get you nowhere at all. Always keep in mind what motivates and interests your audience. Unless you are your sole customer of your business, you're not talking to yourself, you're talking to other people. So make content that is interesting to them, that will hopefully bring their attention and focus into your business. I can talk all day about what you should and should not be doing, but there are no hard and fast rules. There are things that I would personally never do in a million years that work wonders for certain kinds of businesses. So you need to figure out what works best for your business. And the only way to do that is by trial and error. Give something a try, see if it works, make more content in that vein. If not, try something else. There's been plenty of times where my boss has told me to make a post in this specific manner or about this specific thing. And in my head, I'm like, nobody's going to care about that. And she's like, do it anyway. And I'm like, all right. And so then I do it. And it's like the best post we've done in a very long time. So even I'm surprised, even with all of my years of experience. So give yourself permission to try, fail, and try again. Be creative. Again, you don't want to be a carbon copy of someone else. You don't want to be stuffy and staid and boring. You want to do different things in different ways. So just give it a try and see what works for you. Consider customizing your content and your audiences. Again, I showed you earlier, you can set up a custom audience list so that you can easily tap them into them for advertising, but you could easily run ads at the same time, targeting different groups, using different images that are more appealing to different groups, highlighting different things, you know, sorry to keep calling you out, Mary Beth. I know you're probably here for other stuff, but as far like Island Transit, a younger person might be more really interested in the environmental impact, where the older person might be excited to not have to drive after dark, but still be able to get places. So different people have different motivations, different things that they're focused on or excited about. You know, somebody who's comfortably retired in a $750,000 house probably doesn't care about the cost effectiveness. They care about the quality and, you know, how, what the piece says about them versus a single mom with 3 kids who's struggling to pay the bills. She's going to have very different concerns. So don't be afraid. You do not have to be all things to all people. You absolutely can get niched and focus on specific people with your content and either run it simultaneously or just focus in on the niche. You know, you're never going to be able to compete with the Amazons of the world, but if you can be super, sorry, you didn't pay me to advertise. I didn't try to, no, not at all. I'm a big fan. You can absolutely get focused in on who you are best able to serve so that you are more impactful to that group. Is there an advantage to have a pattern or all posts random? I actually find a pattern very helpful. One, for my mental state, and I know what's coming up and it helps me create content and it helps me plan for content. But 2, people start anticipating a pattern and regularly tune in. So I'll actually pull up my social media plan so you guys can see this. This is my social media plan that I operate on for Goosefoot and for Bayview Corner. So on Monday, I talk about community resources, and obviously there's some variations. Yesterday's Monday post was about this class, but usually I talk about community resources, other organizations around South Whidbey. Tuesday, I talk about our Roundup for Change program at the Goose. Wednesday, I talk about our positioning statement with examples of how our programs or organizations supported fulfill those positionings. Thursday, I talk about business workshops. Friday, I talk about anti-racism resources, Staff Saturday, and then Sunday, I talk about what we love about Whidbey. Bayview Corner, Tuesdays, I do trivia. Wednesdays, I talk about art shows. Thursdays, I talk about history. Fridays, I talk about corner businesses. And then Saturdays, I encourage people to post selfies. People, the history posts on Thursdays are probably our most popular posts, and people regularly check in on Tuesdays for the trivia and Thursdays for the history. They come to know the pattern and they regularly tune in to impact with that. So I find patterns very helpful. Make sure you regularly schedule time for yourself to improve your Facebook skills. Look at what other people are doing. Don't just sit in your bubble. See how people are using the platform, see what tools are new or upgraded. I regularly, I'm teaching this class now, I regularly take Facebook and social media marketing classes because these platforms are in constant shift, both in the platform itself and in the way people use them. Things are changing constantly, sometimes to a frustrating degree. If I don't keep myself aware of those, I'm going to fall behind and become obsolete. So make sure you give yourself time to explore and experiment and learn how the platform is shifting, how people are shifting, and how you can stay relevant and interesting to them. Make sure you use all of your tools. As I showed you today, even just within Facebook itself, there are so many tools built into that platform that so many people have never looked at and don't even know about. So, use them to help make your life easier and more streamlined and more effective. And most importantly, have fun. Social media is meant to be a fun tool. It's connecting person to person. Nobody wants to be, stuck with the stuffy person in the corner, not having fun. There's a reason Facebook is the biggest platform in the world and not LinkedIn. Enjoy yourself, be goofy, be silly sometimes, have fun. Find a way to make it enjoyable for you or hand it off to someone else who's going to enjoy it. So that's my whole presentation. Again, please feel free to reach out and ask any questions afterwards if you would like. Here's my email. We do have a ton of workshops available on our YouTube channel, and we have a few more coming up. I think we have Instagram Advanced next week, and then I know there's one again in December. There is Getting Started with Video and graphic design, I think that's the other one in December. Those are all completely free. Feel free. After the new year, we are going to transition to hybrid classes. So we're going to reopen our classroom. I feel like it was great that we were able to pivot and offer these online so quickly after the pandemic started. But I do feel like we are missing something with not having you guys in the room to talk to each other and to interact with me. So we are going to go ahead and start doing classes in person again. However, I know there are still, there's still a pandemic on and there's people who can't travel, or can't be out with other people. So we are going to get a system set up so that we can also stream it digitally like this. So you can choose in person or online. Again, our classes are also recorded on YouTube and available 24/7. So I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, but we still have 25 minutes left in class if anybody has any questions.